During the special election of 2023, I campaigned for and was elected on a platform of achieving property tax relief. After being elected, one of the first bills I filed proposed the elimination of property taxes, and I filed bills related to property tax relief in the 2025 legislative session as well. Then in September of last year, I held a press conference by Zoom to lay out a plan for completely replacing our property tax system with a system based on a combination of transaction fees and sales taxes. Then in this last legislative session, I was honored to serve on the Select Committee on Property Taxes. And we had the opportunity to discuss and debate a number of bills and measures to start us down the road to ending property taxation in this state. I even filed a few bills of my own. Granted, mine were more comprehensive and could have turned the current system upside down. But given how bad our affordability crisis is, the best thing that government can do is change and replace a tax system that is so complex and so unfair that I sometimes think it could only have been crafted by a socialist dictator. I have made the points before about our current property tax system. Points like it's unfair. It requires us to pay taxes on unrealized gains. It's also based on the fictional math living in some local bureaucrat's head, and it's predicated upon the concept that government owns all property and we, the people, are just renters. I believe this tax system is immoral and runs counter to everything we believe as Americans and definitely as the people of the free state of Florida. And here's what I also know. Almost all of my colleagues in the House agree, and many senators and even the governor. So why were we not able to make more progress on this issue during the legislative session? You probably have some ideas about that. I know I do too. But regardless of the reason, for many people who are struggling with affordability right now, our promise of property tax relief feels like the biggest April Fool's joke of the century. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but today is April Fool's Day. Whatever the reason, the fact is that we failed in the regular session to deliver property tax relief. Now, I know we still have more work to do, but I have become a little pessimistic that we're going to achieve any significant property tax cuts or reform this year. The main contributor to all this disagreement is the undeniable fact that it is difficult to completely throw out a tax system that has been operational in this state for almost 200 years. Some would even say that it's impossible. But I'm here to tell you it is possible. And it's possible for us to be the first state in the United States to allow people to actually own their property. As of now, however, we're heading in the opposite direction. For example, it wasn't too long ago that the average age in Florida for a first-time home buyer was just 29 years old. Today, it's over 40 years old and rising. And with property taxes having risen by over 50% just in the last 4 years, it's going to become even more difficult in the future. This is unsustainable, and it's robbing our next generation of the American dream. I'm here because I firmly believe that if we want to force our elected officials and legislature to get this done, we've got to take the issue straight to the people. In 1940, there was a constitutional amendment to abolish property taxes at the state level, making it a completely local source of tax revenue. Today, I am announcing that I will be pursuing action to take this to the next level. I will help lead an effort to pass a citizen constitutional amendment that bans ad valorem taxes on real estate levied by any level of government. Article 7, Section 1, Paragraph A says, no state ad valorem taxes shall be levied upon real estate or tangible personal property. Our amendment language will change that line to say, no ad valorem taxes of any kind shall be levied by any state, county, district, or municipal government entity upon real estate or tangible personal property. Now let me go ahead and tell you what's going to happen before this amendment is approved. there will be panic. Let me tell you what will happen after this amendment is voted on affirmatively by voters in the 2028 election. There will be panic. But for the first time, it will be the government panicking over how they're going to deal with no property taxes instead of all the homeowners and small businesses of the state panicking over how they're going to pay for their property taxes. But realize that when we get this on the ballot and when it is voted on, it is still not over. Then and only then will the legislature be forced to implement new solutions to make sure that we have a new system in place for funding police, fire departments, and schools. Nobody is interested in defunding anything that's vitally important. It's just time to figure out a better way to pay for it than letting government continue to be the owner of all property while imposing a complicated and burdensome tax system on our people. For those wondering if this can be done, take, for example, homestead exemption in the state of Florida. Last year, we collected roughly $18 billion through liens on our residents' primary homes. In just the past 4 years, property tax revenues have increased by almost this amount. So if all that we did was quickly eliminate homestead properties from the tax roll, all we would be doing is taking us back to the same revenue levels of just a few years ago. It's almost embarrassing that any elected official would ever be against this. And that's just the beginning. See, there's no reason why the local businesses of Florida, some of which have been around for 30 or more years, should still have a lien by the government on their property either. Now, here's an example of a path for a new system that works for everyone. One, we begin by setting a baseline of tax revenues back to the 2023 or 2024 levels through a legislative rollback bill, similar to the one that I filed this past session. This bill will enforce some fiscal discipline and force the local governments to immediately doge themselves, and it also provides some immediate relief. Let's then vote to wipe out ad valorem taxes on all real property. The legislator can then look for smart, transactional ways to generate the revenue while providing the largest tax cut in history and making history as the first state with true home ownership. You see, with a $1.8 trillion economy, there are several ways to generate revenue. For example, here in Florida, we could apply a one-time transaction fee to real estate purchases. Or we could increase a one-time fee for those that are moving to the state of Florida. Or we can look at the tourist taxes on the 143 million people that travel to Florida every year that benefit from our police, our fire, and our safety. These simple ideas can create billions of dollars while shifting much of the burden to non-residents of Florida. Consider also that this new revenue could be put into a central reservoir and reallocated to county schools and water management districts on a per capita formula, much like we do with school funding now. And cities would be on their own with an opportunity to create their own funding with impact fees or other sales taxes, all while eliminating $3,000 to $5,000 per year of a lifetime burden from the homeowner and small business. Now, there are going to be a lot more ideas out there, but I don't believe we're going to get collectively serious about a replacement plan until we have the prospects of banning the current property tax system. That is my goal with this campaign for a constitutional amendment. Now, I want to thank the governor and the Speaker of the House for elevating this conversation. If we can get something done on the ballot this year, I'll be in full support. But we must continue to drive this conversation forward until property taxes in Florida are gone for good. Thank you. And now I am glad to take any questions that anybody might have.